Now while we're at it, have a look at this woods. It looks so beautiful, right? Does it? I already said earlier that when you visit these places more frequently, as a newcomer, you might see amazing nature, um, all those trees, and for sure it's a place where other animals live. Like, and that's mainly because humans are not here so often. But yeah, you find tracks of moose here, you find tracks of bears and wolves and lynx and sometimes wolverine. Um, yeah, but when I'm looking at the biodiversity in this place, I have the feeling that something is not quite right. Everything is nice and straight, and for sure this is like managed forest. So this is not primary forest. In the primary forest, like usually primary forest comes up like this, that you have first um, come the pioneer trees like birches, for example, and they build the ground, and then you have the conifers moving in, and they will outgrow the birches. So at some point the birches die off, and you have more of these conifers, also big some bigger aspen. So and these are not big. I mean, like, even though the vegetation, the growth period is much shorter here than in Central Europe, for example, you have like this is not old. Like, this is, I would say, most of it like less than 50 years old. Most of it. Yeah. Probably not even that. So, and in Central Europe these would be 20 years old. But nevertheless, this is not old. And when you look at this, this is not in the interest of the rest of nature. Like, biodiversity is interesting because there's a lot of backup in biodiversity. So if there's like a parasite coming in, moving through the area, parasite, it's usually the parasite specific for one species, so it might wipe out all the birches, right? If you have biodiversity, you will still get birches afterwards, and the forest would still be there. If you have something here that would just take out all the pine, there'll be basically nothing left. Yeah. And also the way we do forestry here in Finland, there's a lot of clear cutting. It seems to be very economic in that moment. But what happens in the clear cutting is that we expose the soil to more heat. So if we do selective forestry, where like we just take some trees here and there, the temperature at the forest floor will be a lot cooler, and the soil will not decompose, thus will not release the CO2 that has been locked in the soil. Yeah, so if it starts composting, bacteria turning the carbon into methane, actually, we're doing quite some damage. And while like some trees might grow back faster, within 100 years it looks like all the trees are back, but the forest, kind of the magic that happens between the trees, yeah, the forest, it takes maybe 1,000 years to grow. So because like some organisms that are really crucial for a healthy forest, they just don't move fast. Yeah, you have some insects that move like maybe a kilometer in 2 years or 3 years, or even slower. And once you take their livelihood or their base away, they will not come back until like decades later. And also like the fungi, the mycelium in the soil. If the soil is decomposing, the fungi die. If you don't have hosts for the fungi die, and the fungi are really, really crucial for the ecosystem because they are capable to transport information and nutrients between trees, and they keep a balance because they kind of choose who gets the nutrients, right? So yeah, it's kind of sad to see, but it still feels good to have good air here. It feels good to find nice tracks in the snow, and it feels good to have silence here. Um, and it feels good to have no clock visible anywhere, and no phone that is going to ring, and so yeah, there's some mixed feelings here for sure. Yeah, so when there was a comment on a Facebook group, like to a picture that I took, and it's like, oh, living the dream. Living the dream. That's a good question. Like, this is not my dream here, really. Like, and I guess the it's probably somebody else's dream, but yeah, you always want what you don't have. So I want a diverse forest, and I want to live in here with a group. So now I'm in a not very diverse forest, and I'm alone, but I still have a good time.